Today's social media segment is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System. Your health is our legacy. Rouse's, you're either local or you're not. Buick, the craft of modern luxury. St. Martin and Bork, know your rights. Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Bayou Time. I'm Martin False, and joining me is Councilman Brien Pledger. He, of course, is in District 1 here in Terrebonne Parish. And today, we're going to sort of go off the path. We're not going to talk about one thing pertaining to Terrebonne Parish, but as you know, there's been some friction. Let's just be honest. We watched the council meeting last week. There was some friction. There was a heated moment where Councilman Pledger and the Parish President were talking about some things that really originated from past things. And that's what I want to talk about today. Because in moving the parish forward, I think both entities want to move the parish forward and want to bury some of these things that have been bothering them for quite some time. And I spoke with Councilman Pledger yesterday. I invited him on Bayou Time. We're going to talk about it today. And one thing I know about Councilman Pledger, and one thing I know about the Parish President, they're both very passionate people. And I've seen this for 40 years in our Terrebonne Parish government. I've seen passionate people get together on many occasions. But at the end of the day, let's be realistic. It would be nice to go have a beer, go have a burger, and let the business be the business and leave the personal things away from the business side. And that's just my perspective from being around for a long time. Councilman Pledger, thank you for appearing today. I appreciate that.
Hey, thank you, Martin. Thank you.
And I've known you for a while now. You are a passionate person. And,
I am.
You know, you served our country. We thank you for that. You were a Navy man for a long, long time. You served your rank. You served your country. And I know when you got elected, I'm sure people tell you right off the bat that sometimes it could be a tough job. Absolutely. You were elected by your district, Parish President was elected, and everybody, for that matter, was elected. So everybody's sort of holding ground sometimes. Tell me about that night. I know you come here with a different mindset today. I want to give you the floor today because I know you want to speak your mind, and I don't want to speak for you. You have the floor.
Well, I appreciate it, Martin. Again, I appreciate it. It speaks volumes of who people are, especially in politics. Politics has been around for a long time. But first and foremost, I want to be able to come forward and be able to apologize to my constituency, the people of Terrebonne Parish, because I did for a moment there allow my passion to become an emotional conversation, okay? And to be able to step forward and admit that or admittingly say that, it takes a lot. But I learned that from the military. You know, we get into the heat of battle with one another, our comrades, but we still have to step back and remember who our comrades are. And I have a passion, and my passion is District 1. First and foremost. And we have 8 other council members as well. Their passion is their respective districts as well. And for our parish president, his passion is for all of Terrebonne Parish. I understand that. But we have a council that we have our own group within the council that can aid and help the parish president to be able to conquer some of the issues here that we're faced with within Terrebonne Parish.
And let's not just isolate this to you and the parish president, because we've had problems within parish government for a long time. Everywhere I cover, Lafourche, it don't matter where you are, you're going to have personalities that get involved. The best ones that move forward, the best parishes and the governments that move forward are the ones that can put their differences aside and say, all right, we had a good fight tonight. You won. Let's go get a hamburger and drink a beer. I have seen that so much over the year. I remember when people looked like they were going to go to fisticuffs at the meeting, and then we'd all go out. I was a young owner of a TV station in my early 20s directing the council, and I'm going, they're going to go at it after the meeting. After the meeting, they were eating a hamburger together. And so I think it's changed, and it's changed to the point where it does become so personal that people can't just shut it down, turn the light switch off, and relax a little bit. Once again, I appreciate you coming on. I know both you and the parish president have the best interests, according to what you believe, for the people of the parish. How can this be pulled together? I know you've spoken to representatives on the other side. Are we working towards not always getting along or agreeing on everything? Or I should have said not always agreeing on everything, but trying to get along. Is that where we're going?
That's where we're going. That's where we're going. That's the ultimate goal. That's the ultimate goal. And, no one wants to be the example, And what I mean by that, I'm sitting in this seat today. I want to be that example. I can voice my views, voice my opinions, things like that. But ultimately, I have to keep the people of Terrebonne Parish or the people of District 1 at the forefront. Because let's face it, I have 11 or 12,000 constituents within my district that I represent. Naturally, they all don't come to council meetings. But could you imagine if we had 11 or 12,000 people from District 1, or for any district for that fact, at a council meeting? It's pretty loud. So sometimes us as representatives, we're going to get loud. It's going to get contentious. But at the same time, we still have to keep the focus. And the focus is the people in Terrebonne Parish. We got a lot of issues. We have a lot of issues in Terrebonne Parish.
Let's do this. We'll take a short break. We'll come back. We'll talk more about it, because I'd like to get it to where I live in the parish. A lot of people live in the parish. We want to see some peace and harmony. We want to see a good parish. Let's talk some more when we come back from the break.
Absolutely.
We'll take a short break. We'll be right back with Councilman Brien Pledger. Today's social media segment is brought to you by South Louisiana Bank. It's better when we bank together. Waits and Downer, attorneys at law. Terrebonne Ford, built Ford tough. All right, welcome back, as we're talking with Councilman Brien Pledger, who wanted to come on, and he wanted to talk about an incident that took place at the council meeting the other night, and he wanted to speak his mind about it. And I know a lot of you may be watching and saying, well, you should be just getting the news, Martin. No, I live in this parish too. And we all want everybody to move forward in a peaceful manner. You could fight for whatever you believe in, but at the end of the day, let's leave it there. And to the victor goes the spoils. That's the way we've always been taught. Councilman Pledger, once again, I know it was a passionate meeting, but I know that you reached out to the other side. One of your differences was you like to talk to department heads and do different things and sort of work your own magic, so to speak. And I think they sort of guaranteed that. Is that correct on my end?
Yes.
Interpreting that?
Yes.
So there is some movement.
There's some movement. There's some movement. There's some things that that I've requested, and it makes me feel good to know that, hey, here it is. Let's sit down and talk about it. It really it's a step forward. It's a step forward because I have a responsibility.
Yeah.
Bottom line, I have a responsibility, and by God, I'm going to do whatever I got to do to make sure I get it done. There's so much within my district, all over the parish, but my area of responsibility first is District 1, and then it's the rest of the parish. And those areas, I'm looking forward to being able to move forward in those areas and sort of put those services there for the communities that are respectively represent, put them there so they can have and feel like they are a part of Terrebonne Parish.
You know what I've learned over the years watching the councils is that sometimes passion can be misconstrued for aggressiveness. And it's okay to be passionate. It's okay to be aggressive in some circumstances where you need to. But for the average person who works in government, they're not elected. They're just out there doing their own job. So they just want to be able to talk to everybody in harmony and do their job. And it doesn't matter if they're talking to the parish president or the councilman or the councilwoman or whatever. They're just there to do their job and give the information out and do that. And sometimes they get caught in the politics of it all, and they do not want to be there. So is that what you've sort of figured out, I guess, along the way?
I figured that out. I figured that out some time ago. Even more so, the directors that we have on staff, our employees within Terrebonne Parish, they are a great group of people. And we have a benefactor there having these great employees for Terrebonne Parish. One, they live here. So they're biased. They want their parish to look good. Two, most of them are tenured. They've been here for some time. They've worked through several different administrations. They know what it takes to get the job done. So you put those three together and you have what we have, and it's a great group of employees within the parish. And I don't like really calling them employees because they're family, because they're from here. We know them. We see them in the local stores. They live on our streets. Those are the folks that, if we give them what they need, the tools necessary to do their jobs, I think we'll have something even better than we have now.
You know, I think I've been in the catbird seat for a long time, covering 8 parish presidents and seeing the dynamics of the councils with the parish presidents. All parish presidents were different. Every single one of them, if you take their personalities, you would go, how did these 8 all get elected by the same people? Because they're all different. But people want different things at different times, I guess is the best way to describe it. But all the councils are different. And I've seen a lot of infighting in the councils, and I've seen councils that get along pretty good. Y'all are still trying to figure each other out because there's a lot of new members of the council. But I think at this point, though, we'll probably agree, and everyone would agree, even on the council, if they were all here, and the parish president and you. And it's time now. I think everybody's had enough time to find out where their niche is and to move forward, but have that niche be respected by everyone.
Absolutely. The learning honeymoon is over, I would say. And now it's time. We've learned what we need to do, our focus. We know what we need to focus on. And it's time to move forward as a whole. And everyone on the council brings something special to the council in their respective districts. And it's just a matter of being able to put people where they best are going to help the parish. That's just my take on it. Now, the other council members might look at it a little bit differently, but that's my take as far as moving us forward in your respective districts. Find what's most important, latch onto it, because 4 years pass pretty quick.
So you've spoken with, I think you've spoken, let's just be frank and upfront, you've spoken with Communications Director Robbie Lee, I think. Conversations, or they're moving? Is there talk of you and the parish president maybe sitting down and moving forward? And don't mean y'all have to go eat a steak together. Maybe it means y'all might go eat a steak together. I don't know. But do you feel confident that y'all can mend the fence and get moving on it?
I don't feel confident. It's an expectation, and I hope that it happens soon.
Okay.
And it's been proposed to me. It has been proposed to me, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. I'm anxious. I have my 3-subject notebook, so we can get it moving and take care of what we need to take care of. Put our differences aside, and let's focus on the focal point, and that's the people of Terrebonne Parish.
Let's do this. We'll take one more break, come back with another segment. We'll keep talking till we all feel good. How about that?
Hey, there you go.
All right. Brien Pledger once again, District 1 here in Terrebonne Parish. We'll be right back. Don't go away. Today's social media segment is brought to you by Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. CIS, Cardiovascular Institute of the South, the highest quality cardiovascular care available. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality. All right, welcome back. I'm sitting with Councilman Brien Pledger. I agreed for him to come on. I want everybody to come on and talk about what they want to talk about. We invite administration always to come on and give their side of any story. It's just how it's evolved here on Bayou Time. And I guess over the years, maybe because I've seen so much and I've seen people come up together or individually, however they want to work it out. Both sides are willing. Even if they have a smidget of willingness in their soul, it can be worked out. Now, if somebody just hardline and they're not working it out and it's done, well, it's hard to work that out. But I've said it before. I've seen passionate people come to the table and work it out and walk out smiling, and they were able to hold it together. Sometimes I've seen people that come together and work it out for a little bit and it just can't hold together because they just maybe two completely different people. But at the end of the day, it really is about the people and the constituents and getting them services and letting them have their due. They elected you, they elected the parish president, they elected all the council in their district. They just want to see efficiency, I think, would be the word, and productivity along the way. So what would be the offer you would make? You came on, you were contrite about the meeting the other day. Takes a man to do that, I got to tell you. Not everybody comes up and sits on TV and says, I didn't really like the way it went down. You did it. Where would you like to go forward?
I would like to go forward with an open line with our parish president. I'd like for us to sit down amicably, sit down and talk, sit down and he listened to my concerns. I listen to his concerns, his opinions, whatever it might be, so we can move District 1 forward, because there's a few areas. I have Village East, Ashland North, Crozier Community, Deweyville, Mechanicville, all these areas, they're looking to me to make it better. Oftentimes, we have storms, we have things that happen here. You very well know that. Mm-hmm. We have yourself, you're down the bayou, you're in Grand Isle, Jim Cantori, these guys are all over Terrebonne Parish. And the rest of the nation sees Terrebonne Parish down these bayous during storms. And the folks are reaching out, as Americans do. They reach out to try and help. But when they come down here and see down these bayous, I want them to see something new. I want them to see it come back. I'll share with you if I can, Martin.
Sure.
I had a friend of mine I hadn't seen in a long time. And he came from Texas, came down. He calls me when he gets to the 311 exit. And he's making sure he's on the right path and all this. So I'm talking to him as he's driving through, and he's going down 311. He says, man, you guys have bounced back. It looks great. It looks good. You got a ball field over here. I'm passing your little brother's house over here, passing your uncle's house over here in Ordon. And, he's coming through and he's excited. We get off the phone. 20 minutes later, he pulls in the driveway, and I walk up to him, embrace him. And he says, man, what happened? I said, what do you mean? He says, man, I'm coming through town. It's beautiful. I get across the bridge. It's like a war zone. What happened? I said, well, we're still working on it. At that moment is when it hit me. We got to do more for the rest of our parish. Mm-hmm. And that's not a slight at anybody or anything like that. But if I have to be the guy standing up with that baton of, let's work on South Adena Coastal, Berg, Chauvin, Grand Caillou, District 1, Bayou Large, I want to do that. I want to be that person that's willing to stand with the mic like I am now and say, let's help the rest of this parish.
And I think we'd all agree that I don't care who's parish president, who's senator, who's governor. if the person who owns the house doesn't have a willingness to fix their own house or property, just ain't going to get done. So they have to have a willingness and a incentive to get it done. And maybe that's where we have a department that goes around and makes sure everybody's up to standard. And maybe that's the way we go. But I wouldn't put that on any one person, because that's a community that has to correct that problem. But you make a good point. I think we all want to see our community look good. We want to feel good in our community. We want to be good in our community. And I think my advice to people, because I've seen so much, if you want to settle the score, make it behind the door, and maybe not in public,
There you go.
So I'll give you the final words. Got about a minute left. I'll let you close. Message to the parish president.
Well, message to the parish president, I'd like to extend my hand, extend my thoughts, and I want to receive his hand and his thoughts in us working together, moving forward. Let's build on moving Terrebonne forward. There's some things I can share with him that he might not be aware of. There's some things he might can share with me that I might not be aware of. However, that's the catalyst to moving forward. Me understanding you and you understanding me. And that's my request.
I got to be honest. Not many people have called me in 40 years and say, can I come on your channel? And I'll say it and humble myself, because that's sort of what you alluded to. You wanted to come on, and I can tell you ate a little crow today, but you saw something in yourself that you wanted to talk about and fix. So you put it out there, and I appreciate it. That took a lot of guts for you to come, and I appreciate you coming on HTV and doing it. And thank you for sharing that with us.
Hey, Martin, if it's one thing the military taught me, it taught me that we're all brothers in one way or shape or form.
Thank you, Brian. Good seeing you.
Thank you.
All right. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Today's social media segment is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System. Your health is our legacy. Rouse's, you're either local or you're not. Buick, the craft of modern luxury. St. Martin and Bourke, know your rights.